All right. All right. So thank you guys for tuning into this tap-in session. We got a few people on the call today. I am really excited about today's tap-in. And of course, I have my sidekick here with me. So please show me some grace. I am excited about today's tap-in session. This was going to be more of kind of like a narrative. If you guys been listening over the past week or so, I've been really talking about getting back to the basics. And what I mean about getting back to the basics is really getting to know you guys more, making sure that I'm connecting you guys together, and then also giving you guys a chance to know me, right? So some of you guys do know me on a personal level. Some of you guys are just getting to know me. And then, some of you guys actually have never really even talk to me, and I don't like that, right? Like I've said so many times before, I don't want this organization to just be a collection of names. I really want us to be able to utilize this group and help each other out. And so to improve on that, again, I want to do those meetups with you guys and give you guys more information about me. So that's what today's session will really be about. Kind of letting you guys in on my entrepreneurial journey. I'll share some, some personal things as well. It's gonna get a little real, but I won't talk your ear off for too long. And the goal is really just for you guys to see more, understand really my why behind Make It Happen Sis, my kind of what I see the future for Make It Happen Sis is. And so then when we do those strategy sessions, we can make sure that we're aligning and that we're discussing the right things. So I'm gonna jump right into it. And again, like I said, this kind of will be more of a narrative kind of thing. But if at any time you guys that are live on the call, if you need to stop me or say something, just chime right on in. I do not mind. So I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I feel like, even when I was a kid, I did, like most kids, I did my little lemonade stand. I used to take the jeans of my, the back pockets of my jeans, and I sewed those into little mini pocketbooks, and I was gonna sell those. I wanted to start a magazine called Mahogany. That was my answer to 17 magazine. And so I had all these ideas, but at the same time, I had a lot of fear and a lot of insecurity and a lot of things holding me back. And so unfortunately, in those early years where I could capitalize on a lot of stuff, I didn't, specifically just out of fear. And that's kind of, I feel like, how I lived my life for a while. When I graduated high school, I originally had a different plan, but short notice, I changed that plan and applied to go to the Fashion Institute in San Francisco, so FIDM. I was going to go there. Hey, I was going to go there for merchandise marketing. They did a presentation at my school, and I fell in love with this concept of somebody going into a bar and they're like drinking vodka and Sprite, and they're like subconsciously trying to convince other people to shop the product too. And just that whole idea, that's really what got me. And so, like I said, I was studying merchandise marketing. And what I used to do is carpool into San Francisco with my father. And then I would take the BART, which is like our subway system out there, to go to school. And yeah, I was 17 at the time, real young. I thought I was my own little, Miranda Sex in the City thing. Like I was in San Francisco, just living it up. And, I did enjoy it, but it became conflicting very quickly for me. And what I mean by that is that, so I would be, say, in Christian Dior doing a case study, right? Like living my best life. And literally around the corner from me, there's a woman urinating in the street because she has no other place to do that, right? There would be these long soup kitchen lines on this end of the street, and then you go down to the square, and there's people, buying $1,600 bags, and it really started being conflicting for me. And I was like, am I making an impact? Am I doing what I'm meant to do? Like I'm going to school to teach people to convince people to buy things that they don't need. And it really started bothering me. And along with, in my personal life, I had some things going on with my family, some traumas and some stuff. I have one of those families where what happens to the family stays the family. We don't talk about things. And so it became really hard in that aspect of my life too. And just the drive into San Francisco with my father was like, I can't do this. And so, I ended up, after a year, leaving that school, kind of floating around trying to figure out what I was doing with my life. And at 19, I ran away, and I put in quotations because you can't really run away at 19 because you're grown, you're not grown, but you're legally grown. And, I ran away. I left California, ended up in Louisiana, then in Arkansas. And at the time, like I said, there was a lot of trauma that had happened that was not discussed, not talked about. And for those of you who have dealt with that, you know that trauma is going to manifest itself in some sort of way. Like if you're not dealing with that, you're not handling that, it's going to come out in some sort of way. And so be that, you know, you have like a spending issue, be it you know, become a workaholic, however it comes out, it comes out. And so for me, it came out into, I became this party girl, right? Like I literally was just out there doing whatever with whoever for quite a while, right? And so, like I said, I was 19 at the time. And let's see, we got some more people coming into the room. I was 19 at the time, and you know, just really involving myself with some very toxic people. I became a very toxic person, and this just kind of went on for a while. And so, what happened? So then, yeah, so that went on for a while, and then I ended up back home for a little bit. Then I moved to Colorado, and while I was in Colorado, you know, again, just connecting myself with the wrong people, some things are happening, and I actually ended up getting 5150. And so, for those of you who don't know what that is, it's involuntary stay in a hospital, right? So I was in a hospital for a suicide attempt, and they were like, you're gonna stay here for a while. And they put me in a facility, and I was there for about a week. And unfortunately, you know, that was not my bottom. That was not my rock bottom. I was very stubborn. I was still not looking at stuff, thinking about things that were going on. And so for me, that was like a little mini vacation. I didn't utilize the tools that were around me. And, you know, I got out of there and kind of fell even deeper into the things that I was doing, right? So continued down this path, was doing this for a while, moved back home, and then come around like 22, 23, I was dating a guy, and he was trying to join the Air Force. And so, you know, I was supporting him, going with him to his recruiter's office and stuff. And while I was there, the recruiter was like, hey, you're here, just take the ASAP. You're sitting here, just do it. And so I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. And so, like I said, my mind was not anywhere. And I actually did really well on the test. In fact, the recruiter stopped trying to recruit him and started recruiting me. And I ended up, you know, planning to go into the Air Force. I did the DLAP test, which is like a language test to see how you can take, you know, learn other languages, scored really well in that. And so I had a signing bonus. I was going to come in as a crypto linguist and go to school in Monterey. And like, I just had this whole plan, and I'm like, all right, cool. Again, still not dealing with any of the things that have gone on with my life. Right. But I was like, this is a new path for me. Like, this is great. I'm going to, you know, be rich and commission and do all this stuff. So that was my goal. I joined the military, and then 7 weeks into my training, so boot camp is 8 weeks. So I'm 7 weeks in, headed for graduation. I get called into the shirts office, and they're like, sweetheart, you can't get a top secret clearance. And so, yes, baby. They're like, sweetheart, you can't get a top secret clearance. And like I said, I had a pass, right? I had been in a lot of stuff, and the recruiter I was working with, you know, for those of you who are familiar with the military, recruiters do what recruiters do to make sure they get you through the door, right? And so everything that had gone on in my life, the thing that had stopped me from getting that top secret clearance was a car repossession. Like literally all the other things that had gone on, they're like, you got your car repossessed, so you could possibly sell secrets, so you can't do this job. And so, you know, I was devastated, because I thought this was my way out. This was my new beginning. And, you know, I was ready to head back home, because they were like, you know, since you're not under this contract, you can go back home. It won't be a discharge. It won't be anything. Or you can pick from this list of jobs. And so ultimately I ended up sucking it up, picking from the list, and I became a medical admin. And so, you know, they call us like paper pushers in the military. So yeah, I became a paper pusher, and I was so angry at the time that my dream sheet of where I wanted to be stationed at, originally it was all overseas. And I was so mad, and I was like, no, California, 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 I'm going back home. So put everything in California, and they sent my butt back to California, to the Mojave Desert. And that's where I spent my full 6-year enlistment. And again, like I said, if you do not deal with things in your life, they come back up, right? So, you know, I joined the military, and now I had, you know, freedom, I had money, and I had a plethora of things to get into. And so that's exactly what happened. Like that toxic lifestyle just came back. Unfortunately, some things that I learned later on in life is that when you don't deal with trauma, there are some things that are about you that other people might be attracted to. And so I started really attracting really toxic people, and really, you know, predators and all different types of things. And so all these things just started occurring, and it was just this spiraling path. And the crazy thing about that is, on the flip side of that, you know, career wise, everything was upward, right? So like I'm crushing things, I'm getting awards, Levito, Airman Council president, Booster Club president. Like on paper, I was fantastic. 4:30 hit, that we clocking out of work, I'm a wild child. And so this went on for, about 4 or 5 years of this crazy, really unproductive lifestyle that I had. And I was miserable. I knew I was miserable, but I didn't want to face that I was miserable. And so, during those times, I had some people that I knew that could kind of see things were going on. And a friend of mine, she was like, "Hey, why don't you come on down to mental health?" And I was like, "Girl, leave me alone, leave me alone." And so this went on for a while. And then, like I said, some things had happened to me while I was in the military, which unfortunately is not uncommon for most people. And I won't even say women, just most people in the military, So I was sexually assaulted in the military, and, I was dealing with that. And so a lot of people knew about that because unfortunately, the person who did that was known for doing that. And it's just no one was speaking up. So it was kind of like, oh, you got to, okay. And so, these things were just going on. And one of my friends, she was like, "I really want you to talk to somebody. I really want you to talk to somebody." And I was like, "Nope, nope, nope." And then, back home, some things were going on in my family life, and it just kept spiraling and spiraling. I honestly think I did finally was like, subconsciously, I was like, okay, this ain't working no more. And so in the military, they have something called like the ADAP program, which is really like, say you get a DUI or you get into any kind of alcohol related incident, they send you to this program where you learn about alcoholism and all that. And so you can get into it that way, or you can kind of self-identify. And so you self-identify by filling out a little questionnaire. And so one day, I listened to my friend and I was like, "All right, give me the questionnaire." And I think I knew what was going to happen when I did it, but I think I was at the point where it's like, okay, I need something needs to change in my life. And so did the questionnaire. And of course they're like, "Okay, you need to come down to ADAP." Got in that program. And like I said, things were back home with my family, things were going on that was just crazy, and everything started spiraling again. And ultimately I ended up back in the hospital, right? So like active duty, this star-studded staff sergeant, that they had, I was like their shining star. Now I'm in the hospital, and I ended up getting into a 30-day treatment facility, and for like intensive trauma and things like that. And honestly, y'all, that's what saved my life, right? Like I think that was, I wouldn't even, it was a bottom, but it was more of like a lifeline, right? So like I get into this facility, I'm there for 30 days, and then I'm there 30 days as outpatient. So those 30 days intensive trauma, like I'm literally like there with doctors every single day, talking about things. I'm with other patients, and I just learned a lot about myself, and I learned to really face what was going on in my life. And I also learned to forgive myself. I learned to let things go. And I think that's one thing that I wanted to mention on this tapping today is, we can't control everything that happens in our life, right? Like we can't control other people. We can't control anything but how we react and the things that we do. And I think that's what I started to learn. It's like some things you just got to let go. Yes, baby. Okay. Some things you just got to let go. And so, I started that path of healing and letting things go, and learning more about myself, learning to value myself. And so, I got out of that facility, and then I went back to the military, and there's still all that other stuff that was going on there in the military. And so I knew that it was time for me to get out, right? Like this wasn't for me. And I could have stayed in and probably turned things around and had a very successful career. But I think when I came back, it was kind of like the star had fallen, and I was just like, okay, I need to start over kind of thing. And so, after my 6 years, I got out, honorable discharge. There was nothing, no paper trail of anything. Thank God, like, and that's one thing I'll say about looking over my life is that he covered me over so many different things, right? Like so many things could have went different ways, but so I got out, and on my way out that last year, as I mentioned to you guys earlier about the person who had assaulted me, and like I said, they had assaulted multiple people. They were finally being court-martialed, right? So someone stepped up and told the truth, and so now she needed more witnesses. And unfortunately for me at the time, that is not where I wanted to be. And that's something that I learned to accept later in life, that everyone's story is not going to be the same. Some people are able to go and be like, yes, this is who did this. And then other people are like, I'm walking away from that. And so for me, I was walking away from it. But what I did instead is once I got out of the military, I started working for a nonprofit. And so the nonprofit was called the Blue Bench, and it was for sexual assault prevention. And I started working on the Victims Advocate Hotline. And honestly, that in itself was kind of a healing process for me, because you go through their, 6-week program of of dealing with sexual assault and how you help others. And then I was learning things on how to help myself and how to forgive myself and be like, okay, you know, this is not your fault. This is not, you know, this, you didn't cause this, or, you know, there's a whole re-victimization thing. Like that's not on you. You don't take responsibility for things that other people did, but you take responsibility for how you're going to heal from that. And so I was able to do that. And those calls, like I'm telling you, I worked the night shift. And so what I did from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., I took the calls of people literally like in situations right then and there, you know, say they're in college and this just happened to me. Like, what do I do now? So, you know, getting them if they want to go to the police, if they want to go to the hospital, you know, getting them the resources. Someone, you know, PTSD is real on the sexual assault side too. So someone might just be sleeping and gets triggered and they call. And so I was dealing with all of that. And I really felt like that was my calling at the time. And from there, and I volunteered on the hotline, and then I became an intern and I did like their outreach program. So I went and, you know, did like little kind of like pop-up shops and stuff, giving out information and stuff. And then from there, I got hired on as a prevention specialist. And this is all at the same time I was getting my degree in sociology. So I got hired on as a prevention specialist and began teaching sexual assault prevention in high schools and colleges. And I loved it. And backtracking a little bit, that last year of my military career is when I met my husband. So another big thing that I wanted to point out today is that, and I think all of us know this, but we don't want to be honest about it, is you attract what you put out, right? And so I think so many times we get stuck in like, well, why every guy I meet does this or this, that happened. You're attracting what you put out. And I think those, you know, early 20s and stuff, I was attracting what I was putting out. And so I was getting with just the worst of the worst. And so after that trauma therapy and really starting to understand myself and learn myself, it was a different environment, right? So, you know, God sent me my husband. I met my husband. We got engaged, you know, had our first child, and then he got orders to Korea. And so while I was working on my degree and working as a prevention specialist, I was, you know, doing that here I was in Colorado at the time while he was there. And so, like I said, things started changing and I really started growing and developing as a person. This is in my 30s. You know, so my 20s was just craziness. And then, like I said, I met him and I had my daughter. So it's in my 30s and things really started changing. And then we got orders to England. Okay, baby. I'll get it in a second. Okay, so we got orders to England, and over there and I know a lot of us are already associated with the military, you know. Yes, baby. A lot of us are associated with the military, and you guys know how that is, being overseas and stuff. And it was just a whole new experience for me. You know, being able to see people in other cultures and other light. And I'm like the most amazing trip I ever took was kind of like an impromptu trip to Iceland with my husband and my daughter and my sister. My sister was working for the government at the time and working for the city and got sent to Iceland for something. And so we met her there because when you're overseas, you can travel very cheaply. So met her there. We rented a car and we drove the Golden Circle in Iceland, literally in the middle of December. So it was like snow and everything, but it was the most amazing trip ever. So, you know, experiencing that kind of stuff. While I was over there, originally I was not working. You know, I just had my one daughter, and you know, I was staying at home. My husband, he's security forces, so he literally deploys all the time. He's deployed right now. And it was just me and my little girl. And I quickly realized that I'm not the full stay at home, just with your kid, like me and her. I was like, nope, she's got to go to daycare. So I got to get a job. So that's kind of what prompted me to get back into the workforce. And so I got a job on base. And while I was on base, like you know, God just opens doors the way he opens doors. And so I got it. I was a program manager, which on the surface was not what I wanted to do, but the group that I was working for really afforded me kind of the freedom to do what they knew I was skilled at doing. So, you know, I did a lot of RTA, so like MRT, that's like the resiliency training, things like that. I taught sexual assault prevention. I was volunteering over at the Airman Family Readiness Center, and that's where I ultimately wanted to be. That was more so my career field. But, you know, God puts you where you need to be. And so everything, like I would be headed in that direction, and then something would happen. And then a job position would open up and they were like, okay, we want you to come work over here. And then it's like, well, I love this job here. And like I said, they were giving me freedom to do things on my own terms. So ultimately, I did not end up at the Airman Family Readiness Center, and I stayed where I was at. And it was great. We had, you know, really formed all these different communities out there. So we had the African Heritage Association, and we had the Black Male Spouses Club. And so there was all these different things we were putting on, and I was really learning, you know, how to utilize community, how to tap into a community and learn and grow with these women. And it was great. It was amazing. We did the first diversity and inclusion day. I was over the African heritage portion of it, and we put on like a hair parade, and my daughter was involved, and it was really great. There's all these really amazing things going on. And then there were also some other, you know, not so amazing things. So we were there from 2018 to 2021. And some of you guys have heard me tell this part of the story before, if you've gone to like the brunches and stuff. So, you know, we were there 2018 to 2021, and this is the time of, you know, George Floyd's murder, you know, Trump's presidency, the Capitol, like all this crazy stuff was going on back in the States. And in England, you know, we're in our little pocket, our little military community, and it was like, yes, baby. Okay, you can go listen to it. You want to go listen to it? So we were, you know, in our little pocket, and we a lot of us got a lot closer because of that. You know, we were able to share things. But then what I noticed on my career side, like I said, I was working on base. What I noticed is that the people that I thought saw me and understood me really didn't, right? Like I noticed that I was now constantly defending myself. I was defending, you know, my pain around certain things. I remember when George Floyd happened, like I actually got sent home early because I was too angry. And by that, and I wasn't even, you guys, like I literally just was not talking that day. And I didn't work in customer service. I worked up in an office by myself. Like, and I wanted to keep to myself. And they were like, well, maybe you need to go home, you know, and it was just a lot of different things. And I just noticed I started craving a place where I could be me 100%, where I could be seen and I could grow and develop amongst people who understood, you know, who I was and what I was going through. And then, you know, so that's going on. And then here comes COVID, right? So COVID happens, and in England, I'm not sure how it was in Georgia, but it shut down. Like you did not leave unless you had papers that said you were an essential worker. You had an hour to go outside. So I picked up running, so I go outside. You could go to the grocery store, you go to the pharmacy, but other than that, you were not hanging out with nobody, not doing anything. And so when we got orders to come to Georgia, I really was craving that community. And then I was also craving, again, a place where I could be me 100%, right? So I know a lot of you guys are from Georgia. So for me, like, I'm not from Georgia. And, you know, upon hearing I got orders to Georgia, I was terrified. I was like, oh my God, like I'm going to the South, I'm going, you know, Confederate flags and all of this. And I thought, when I thought of Georgia, all I thought was Atlanta, right? So I was like, okay, somehow I got to connect into Atlanta, get into Atlanta, meet some women out there. And what I realized is when I got here, like middle Georgia, you seriously, all of you here, like just amongst the women on the call right now and all the women that I've met so far, there are so many talented, amazing women, right? And so when I got out here, I started slowly connecting with people and learning about people, and I was just electrified by it. And I was like, okay, there's something here. I like this. There's something. And I ended up starting my own, you know, I was working for the government when I first got here. I transferred over, and you know, I knew when I transferred over that was not the career for me. You know, I was still program manager, and I was like, okay, I got to do something for me. And so originally I started a business called Celebrating Us, which is technically Make It Happen Sis. But back then I was very naive. And I had like just these huge dreams. Oh, I just want to help my community. I want to just promote with my community. And like, there was no clear vision of it. So quickly I learned like, okay, you got to redirect this a little bit, pivot a little bit. And, you know, that's what you're supposed to do. You know, so I am a student of learning. Like I love to learn. Like I'm always trying to gain more knowledge and stuff. And so as I decided to become a real entrepreneur, you know, I started taking courses. Right now I'm getting my master's in PR. But I went into an incubator program. I, you know, did some leadership certifications. I got my event certification. And, you know, like I said, I was doing events and things prior to this, but it was all within the military. So it's in the comfort of their budget. And, you know, it was a little different. And so when I was here, I was like, okay, I'm going to put on an event. And that event was called Make It Happen Sis. That's kind of how this happened. So that was called Make It Happen Sis. And it was through Celebrating Us. And it was a women's empowerment event. And, you know, through that, you know, I had like a pop-up shop that was all women entrepreneurs. And then we had a panel of all women entrepreneurs. Most of them are actually members now. And it was just amazing. And like I said, that was like the first thing that was solely me by myself without the backing of the military. And I was like, this is it. I love this. This is it. And then the response I was getting from the women that were a part of it, they're like, okay, so what's next? What are we doing next? What's next? And I noticed that a lot of us are doing things, you know, in our own little bubbles, our own little pockets. And I just wanted to get all of those things together, right? Like I wanted us to be able to see, hey, you can connect with you can connect with you. And that's really what kind of birth Make It Happen Sis. Like I wanted to be able to create an environment that, say you need, you know, someone to help you with, customer funnel, going down a customer funnel. You need someone to help you with social media marketing. We have that within our group, right? We have that within our organization. Say you want to get an event planner. There's so many different things, like shopping within our members first, like learning from our members, really networking with what we have. And so that's what I started trying to create. And, originally it started back in October. And so we're slowly growing and we're slowly pulling people in. And that's kind of what we're doing now, is more of a feedback loop, right? So many of you, because most of you are all business owners, so like the whole, you build, measure, learn, like that's kind of what we're going through right now. And so we built it, and right now we're measuring a lot of data, and I'm learning from it. So that's really important for me to get with you guys individually and really hear your thoughts, how you think things are going right now, where you need help and you need assistance, how you think you can pour into other members, because that's a big part of this. Again, I can't stress enough, this is not just an organization for me to collect names, right? Like I don't want to just collect your names, collect your money, and be about my way. Like I want this to really be a effective network, right? Like I want us to be leaning on each other. So when we join, engage with each other. And that doesn't mean you need to be attending every event, you need to be responding to every event. It doesn't, because we all got lives, like we're all wearing, 20 different hats. But shop your members first. Like if you have a question, if you're looking for something, come to the members here. Like this is here for you. This is your organization. If you're trying to put something on, especially, we're trying to start workshops soon. So if you're an expert in something and you're like, hey, I want to teach this, or I want to try this out, this is the group to try that out on, right? Like we're all here to support each other, to promote each other, to learn from each other. And I'm learning in these feedback sessions with you guys, is that a lot of you guys like, yeah, that's what I want to do. I'm ready to do that. And it's just, collaborating and coordinating and getting it all down. So kind of the call to action for this tap-in session is really to schedule one of those strategy sessions so that I can get with you one-on-one, learn more about you, kind of like how I shared about, you don't have to get that personal with your information, but, learn more about you, your aspirations, your goals, how Make It Happen Sis can help you, how you can help with the Make It Happen Sis. I just got done with a strategy session today, and y'all, I am so excited. I don't want to give too much away because I like to just show y'all when it happens instead of just like, oh, we're going to do this, because then things change. But there is an event coming up that I really think is going to be impactful and different, and I'm excited about that. So again, the future that I see for us is all, a lot of collaborations, and I've noticed a lot of you guys are doing that. So thank you. Some of you guys come to me and say, hey, me and so, we've been talking, we're going to do this. I love that. I encourage that, use the people around you, because you may be able to do something on your own, and that's great. But think about if you add somebody else into that, or even if you just, bounce an idea off of somebody else, how further that can go, right? Like two heads are better than one kind of thing. Like I said, I don't want to I feel like I'm keep kind of circling around the drain. But again, the call to action for today is really schedule those strategy sessions. And then, maybe you listen to this tap-in session, you're like, you know what? This is not for me. And that's 100% okay, right? Like I get that. Like I said, I'm not saying, oh, if you join Make It Happen Sis, you need to do everything. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying engage. And, maybe you're like, I'm an introvert. I don't want to talk to anybody. Like, I don't want to be in a network. I get that. That's fine. But, if you see the vision, you want to add to that vision, please, by all means do so. And share, tell a friend, tell another girl, that you think that this could be useful to her, because we do want to grow the network in a nice pace, to where, again, we can cultivate it and make it effective for everyone. So I know I talk really, really fast as I'm working on that, and you get in a Toastmasters course, but thank you, especially you all on the call that sat here and listened. I'm open the floor to questions, comments, anything you guys got. I'm here. Any feedback? Yeah. All right. Well, does anyone else want to hop on? We still technically have 30 minutes. We won't have to use the whole time if we don't need to, but I know there are some members on here who have not introduced themselves. Do any of you guys want to do quick introductions? Tell us a little about yourself and your business.
Hey, this is Kimberly Burnett. I figured I know how it is to kind of have that dead space. You're like, anybody say anything?
Thank you.
No worries. Hey, everybody. I'm Kim Burnett. I'm kind of in an interesting niche of I don't work. I'm permanently disabled. Hi, baby. I'm permanently disabled due to lupus, but I facilitate a support group for the Lupus Foundation of America, and I have a podcast. So Khadijah actually recruited me to come in, and she was like, oh, she's telling me all about it. Oh, it's entrepreneurs, it's Black women, and I'm like, yay, Black, yay, women. Yay, I don't have a job. And so she's like, well, yeah, you do. You're a support group leader, and I'm going to school. And so hearing your mental health journey, I'm actually getting my degree in mental health and wellness. And like this past week, a lot of the stuff you even just said, like this past week has been so eye-opening that I literally was like, do I want to take this class? Because now I feel like I want to diagnose myself and everyone else around me. And I'm really trying really hard. And I'm like, dang, I'm messed up. Like, let me not do this because that means this and this, that. And I'm going to then end up with this trauma if I that. And it's been a lot. But I am really glad to have met up with, or virtually be meeting up with you all. Like you said, it's like I'm from Southern California, moved here, didn't know anyone, didn't see anything to do, cried almost every day because I didn't know anyone and I didn't see anything to do. But now that I've kind of got out there and seen like the collaboration over competition, that was really awesome. And, just meeting when I met you at the gym and just all these different places that I'm like, wow, there's some really dope Black women doing stuff out here. So, I'm like, I know I don't necessarily work per se, but if you know people who have lupus, and it predominantly affects Black women. So if you know anyone who has any type of autoimmune disease, or looking for motivation or podcast ideas or anything like that, I'm super open to that. And so, yeah, I'm really thankful for this. I'm glad you put it together. I didn't get on the call right on time, so I missed some of your story, but just from the part that I heard, I'm really glad that you set this up for women like us who need each other.
Thank you for sharing, Kim. And I do want to just piggyback off of that. Her podcast, the Purple Rose podcast, is amazing. It is very motivational. I think you have a gift, and I think I'm not God, so I can't tell you what your call is, but I feel like when I was listening to your, I did like 3 episodes back to back, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is what I need right now. And so, and even with that, you entrepreneur, business owner, whatever. I think it's really, women that are goal driven, women that, want to grow. And so you don't have to have a business, but I mean, a podcast is business, but you don't feel like you have to be like earning the income outside of, some other thing. But just thank you for sharing that. And I'm really happy that you are a part of
this. Thank you.
No problem. Anybody else?
Turn the camera off now.
Oh no, you're fine. Anybody else want to share?
I am Akira Walker. Hey, Kim. Nice to meet you. Hey, Dominique. This is my first time actually on here. I am a nail technician. My business is called Kiki Beauty LLC. I have a lot of things lined up right now. I work at Renewed Beauty and Spa. I'm 25. I am right now I'm in school to be a therapist. Also, so wellness and learning about the mind and body is very important to me. And plus I do a lot of talking. I'm also a therapist in this business so far. I've been in this business for going on 5 years. 2 years in hair. I've had my license for 7 years so far. And I think that's it. So just for right now.
Thank you, Kiki. I like how you said just for right now. Like there's more, but
stuff coming. I'm working on it, but yeah, definitely. I just don't want to talk about it right now.
No, I feel you. thank you for joining. And I love how, as you guys see, there's a range of age and experience and stuff. So I love that, you're coming with probably like a lot more new things, and you're more tapped in than someone like me. But thank you so much for being a part of this. And she's saying hi too.
Here.
Anybody else?
Hey everybody. My name is Jasmine. I have a company called My Vast Incorporated. We're a virtual assistant company. We provide general admin, social media management, graphic and website design, website management services. We work with coaches, consultants, service providers. Let's see. I'm 28. I think I said that. I have a 3-year-old who was back and forth in here. I think he don't want to take a nap now. But I joined Make It Happen Sis to get me out of my comfort zone. One, we did have the opportunity to work with Dominique in assisting her at the event. And what I saw, I told her was full of value. I don't even think that she understands the work that she has and the things that was put into place. So immediately I was like, I want to be a part. I want to stay connected. And I'm getting out of my comfort zone of talking to people, networking, and I felt like this would be a great place for me to nurture that and to be able to spread my wings in that aspect. So yeah, you guys, if y'all need some VA work or interested in what we do, event assistance is what we do as well. Go to our website at www.myvast.com or email us at info@myvast.com, and we'll be happy to talk with you guys on a discovery call. So bye.
Thank you, Jasmine. And yes, I will vouch for this. They worked my event, and y'all made it so much less stressful for me. And especially my 2 little ones running around, I was able to focus on them and focus on the actual event. So thank you guys. Hey, Kim, go ahead. I see your hand up. Go ahead.
There we go. Sorry, unmuted myself. My bad. Okay, so I have a question, just because I'm new to everything. And with Khadijah, since I knew her as a friend, she just told me about Make It Happen Sis. But when we're like out and meeting people and stuff like that, how should we be like introducing it to where we're like, hey, you should come, like, just kind of like, oh, it's a Black woman entrepreneurship. But I'm sure that's probably not the way to do it. So is there like a certain way, like, do you have meetings or something people want to come to, or an email or something?
Yeah, so what people can do, and it's technically women of color, and that's more, it's marketed to Black women, but I do know there are women who might be Black or might not consider themselves, but they are still of color, and so it is. I don't want to say only Black women, yeah, but tell them about the Facebook page. So that's Make It Happen Sis, and then the website is www.mihs.co, not com, just .co. On there, they're able to subscribe to our newsletter. They're able to subscribe to our newsletter, and I do a lot of things on there. Like I'll send out events and stuff. On our website, all of our events are on there. And what we're gonna start doing is monthly meetups at different locations of members in our organization. Right, a lot of you guys have brick and mortar locations, and so we're gonna be doing the meetups there, and that's going to be open to everyone, so people can come, see what we're about, network with the members, and decide if that's something that they would like to be a part of.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, ma'am.
No problem. Anybody else want to introduce themselves?
Yes, this is Jane, and y'all make me feel real old. But I guess I won't be the grandmother of the group. I enjoy the motivation that Dominique shows and the leadership that she shows. I am Jane Grant with JD Lamps, and my story is that what I am looking at today, if I had it at 20 and 25 and 30 years old, of being independent, on your own business, I would probably be a millionaire by now. So only thing I have to say is stay focused, do whatever it takes for you to get from where you are now to the next level, regardless of what life puts in front of you. And my thing is that I tell my grandkids and anybody else I talk to is, when you look at a track meet and you got that person running hurdles, when they jump that hurdle and that hurdle fall over, they never stop to go pick it up. They keep going. So life is going to be just like that. It's going to be that track meet. and it's going to be that hurdle race. You're going to have the obstacles, but that's what makes you stronger. Because when they jump that hurdle and that hurdle fall over, they're more determined the next time when they get to the next hurdle that they are going to jump over it without touching it. So that's my story, and I'm here. I done retired so many times that we won't even talk about it. And one day I am gonna do my story as a Black female working through corporate America in the 80s. And that is something that has built groundwork for some of the things that you are allowed to do today. But as of today, I enjoyed it. I wish you the best. And always remember, do me, for me, be me, do me, and for me. Be yourself. Do what you have to do to get yourself where you need to go. And always think about what's the best avenue to get there. Y'all have a blessed day.
Thank you so much, Ms. Jane. And I, again, pointing out the wealth of knowledge just among us, and that's why I love how it's so diverse with our age range, right? Because you have just the fact that you say being in corporate America in the 80s, there's so much to learn from that, right? Like we do need to learn from women who have done it before us, who have opened the doors for us, and then the wisdom that you have now and the tidbits that you were giving us. So I love that, and I love that we do have multiple members that have some more experience that can teach us, and then we can go on to teach those younger than us. So thank you for sharing. Anybody else? I want to put y'all on the spot.
Hey, Dominique. I am not in the same boat you are. I'm in a temporary boat. So my husband is away in the field for 2 weeks. So he's not deployed, but he's gone for a couple of weeks. And I'm like, I feel for you really hard. Thank you for sharing your story. I wanted to say that. Thank you for sharing and being vulnerable and transparent with your journey up until this point. Because I know a lot of times we can see like where somebody is currently and all the beautiful and the great things that are happening and not know everything that it took to get to this point. Especially you not even being here from Georgia, like bringing everybody together in this space and you're not even, you ain't even from Georgia. So thank you for sharing your story. That's mainly what I want to say. My name is Deja, for anybody I haven't met yet. I'm the owner of Black Birth Pros. So if anybody's familiar with doulas, I'm a doula myself. Not doing on-call work at the moment because I have a young 7-month-old who is busy and breastfeeding constantly. If you're not familiar with doulas, they support people in pregnancy and help you prepare for birth. Black women are unfortunately faced with a lot of scary statistics right now that are very true when it comes to birthing babies and then the first year postpartum. So I am there on the front lines helping to ensure that we're thriving and not just surviving and saying, I beat the statistics, but that you are happy and healthy and taken care of. So I connect Black families with Black birth workers, so doulas, lactation specialists, midwives, home birth stuff, birth center stuff. So anything birth, pregnancy, postpartum, motherhood, let me know. It's already been a few people in the group who, there's like a big group, Robins to Go. I don't know if people are in that. And somebody was looking for a doula at some time and people are tagging me already who are in Make It Happen Sis. So I'm like, okay, I appreciate it. And then I think Khadijah is somebody that I've been in a group chat with because I'm talking to somebody else. Anyways, connections are happening. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for sharing your story. These children been running me down. As soon as my husband popped back in, I'm like trying to get back into the mix, but that's all I have.
Thank you so much, Deja. Yes, girl, it's a struggle. So if you ever want to do, I'm actually going out of town next week, but I'm here if you want to get the kids together and stuff. And I'm glad that you are making connections. There is actually another member who joined recently who is getting into the work of doula, so that I want you guys to connect with each other. And then we have another member who is pregnant, and I thought she's gonna be on the call today. She's pregnant, and I want to get you guys connected too. So yes, I'm very happy that those connections are happening. Anybody else?
I will go. Because this is like, honestly, when I hopped on, I was going to listen passively as I was working on a grant application, and I was very engaged and sucked in, and I stopped working. So I'll say thank you for that, Dominique. But my name is Marsha Marshall, and I'm the owner and senior consultant for Marshall and Marshall Nonprofit Consulting. Essentially, I work with my husband. We're a team, and we work with nonprofit organizations from the start to sustainability. So that includes filing for 501c3s, writing grant applications, working on board development, also other sustainability tactics such as strategic planning. So kind of like a consulting suite of services for nonprofits. I do want to go back and say thank you, Dominique, just for providing this space for, I know you say women of color, but specifically for Black women. I am born and raised in Middle Georgia, and never would have thought anything like this would have come to fruition. I know there's a lot of dope women in the area doing their thing, but just being able to pull us all together and provide a safe space for us to share, to learn, to connect, and to network, I think this is awesome. So like most of the women on the call, I am a mom. My kids are a little bit older, so a little bit more self-sufficient. I get a little, a little time to hop on the call. They're off on gadgets or something now, but I just wanted to say that because I do understand the hats that we wear and the roles that we carry as women, as Black women, as entrepreneurs. So again, Dominique, thank you for the opportunity, just providing this platform. And hopefully I will be able to connect with some of you in person very soon.
Yes, thank you, Marsha. Yes. And thank you guys for listening. And I'm really excited to do more things, more in-person events that you guys are able to come and see. And Marsha is actually going to be on our podcast that's launching. We're shooting next month, but we'll be launching the end of July, early August. So I'm excited for that. And thank you for taking time off of work to talk with us. So I like that. Thank you. Anybody else?
Hello, ladies. I came on a call later. I hope everyone is doing well. I was just hearing everybody's intro. I was like, oh my goodness, we need another dinner. I wasn't able to make it to the first dinner that you guys did at the pond. But my name is Khadija Stiegel. I'm a wife and mom to 4. I have 7. My ages are 7, 4, a 2-year-old, and a 6-month-old. So they keep me really busy. I have a virtual assistant business that I've been doing that for the past about 4.5 years now. And so I'm actually transitioning to become more project-based and scaling back a little bit because I have 4 kids and they're little, they're smaller, so they need a lot more attention now. One of my reasons for starting my business was I wanted to be able to make income without sacrificing time with my kids. So, entrepreneurship has definitely been that it's been able to accomplish that for me. So I've worked with a lot of online coaches. I've worked with authors, real estate investors, real estate agents. So as I think it was Jasmine, I think you have the virtual assistant business as well. So that was really exciting to hear. And you also have a 3-year-old. So I know that's definitely, a juggle. So we'll have to definitely connect because I love motherhood, but also, entrepreneurship. And I just think that it's so important to have someone that just gets it and just to understand, a lot of the things the challenges that you go through. So I also, aside with the virtual assistant business, I also help other moms start their business as well. More particularly like virtual assistant businesses. So if you all know anyone, a mom that's, looking to start something online, reach out to me. I love helping, coaching in business. So that's pretty much it for me. If you want to hang out for a play date or anything, I have them of all ages. So I'm pretty sure we can find, I can have a play date with pretty much anyone.
Thank you, Khadija. I was going to say, have you connected with Single Moms Connect at all? With a couple. So Nika.
I saw them at your event, but that's pretty much it. So not yet.
Okay. So yeah, I think you guys would be great connection for each other because they're starting to kind of explore like moms in business and stuff, and so maybe some collaborating and resource swap in there would be great.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely reach out.
Yeah. Anybody else?
I want to hop back in and share. We have the Coffee Chat Queen podcast where we showcase entrepreneurs, and you guys just come share your story, your journey, and where you are and where you're going. I don't know if you guys got to see Dominique's, but I love her interview. So I just want to throw it out there. You guys make it happen, sis. I'll get free interviews. So if you guys want to schedule your interview, please go to our website and do that. And then also a part of my company with my team members, I love to pour into them because they just do so much for the company and they just need, something else, some substance sometimes. So if you guys are interested in just coming to share your stories or just come to motivate and encourage them, we do mentorships. We do it once a month. I have someone come in and I do need some more people to schedule. So if you guys are interested in doing that, shoot me an email and I'll get you guys on the calendar. But I just want to throw that out there as well.
Thank you, Jasmine. Yes, all of you guys, Coffee Chat Queen podcast. You guys all have a free interview there, so please utilize that. Jasmine is great with that. It was a fun interview. I really liked it. Anybody else? We actually are almost at an hour now. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. I don't know about y'all, but I really enjoyed this session. It was great having so many people on the call and you guys hopping on and sharing a little bit. I am so excited for the things we got coming down the line. So again, if you have not scheduled a session yet, please schedule a session. I would love to talk more with you one-on-one. If you see that the schedule isn't really working for you, just shoot me a text, shoot me a message, let me know, hey, I want to meet at a different time. I will make it work. And that's what it's all about. So thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to get this hopefully processed and out. And I may actually, let me ask you guys that. So I may share this one because the tap-ins are solely for the members. But this one I feel like has a lot of meat in it. It shows the diversity of the group and stuff. Is anyone objected, not using the right words, anyone disagree with me sharing this on a large platform? So just sending out to the subscribers and maybe putting it on the Facebook page. Any objections? All right, so I'm going to take that as a no. Nope, I see no in the chat. So no objections. All right, cool. Hopefully you guys watch, see that I asked that, and if anyone does have objections, just shoot me a message, let me know. I do want to respect everybody's privacy, but I think I'm the only one that shared anything kind of intimate, and I'm okay with that. So as of now, I will be posting this one. So thank you guys, and I will see you guys soon. All right, bye. You say bye. Bye. Bye.